Good afternoon, everybody. This is a relatively short video just to sort of share with people, if that doesn't sound too patronising, a product which I've used for 35 years on a variety of bikes, but mainly the Yamaha XS1100s. I've had 5 of those and restored several of them, and the European version of this bike has black engine casings and black cylinder barrels and head and so on. The American one doesn't, but the Euro one does. And having tried a variety of different case paints, I finally hit on this, as I say, probably 35 years ago, and used it. And it is absolutely amazing because it produces a factory finish that, in the case of the XS11, is identical to the manufacturers, and use this very happily for several decades. And the way I use it is to clean the aluminium components. It could be switchgear, side casings, anything really, and sand them down a bit lightly with wet and dry, make sure they're grease free, and then this paint goes straight on top and it sprays really well. And what I've always done, it used to say it on the instructions but it doesn't anymore, is to spray it and then bake it in the oven for half an hour, about 150 degrees. Just let it bake on and then give it another couple of coats and final bake, and out it comes. Now, I kept one of my XS11s for 3 or 4 years and there was no visible damage or flaking, colour change or anything. So on a recent bike resto, I bought PJ1 satin black case paint again, and it came out a very dark brown, very, very dark brown, but certainly not really black. And it was just rubbish. And in my wrath, I emailed PJ1 in America. And a couple of weeks later, amazingly, it's about 6:30 in the morning, I got a phone call from PJ himself. It's a person. I can't remember what his name was. It's something like Peter J or something like that, and that's where he got the product name from, PJ1. And he phoned me and he said, "I've received your email. I'm not surprised. The European version of the product is now rubbish." He said, "What's happened is that the EU effectively castrated his product. They made him remove a lot of the ingredients which are going to kill people all over the world, apparently, according to the EU. Now, forgive my cynicism, I am not an EU regulation person. And the result of it was, as PJ himself said, the product just isn't what it was. However, what he said was, we make it the same as we always have done in America. Land of the free, you see. They can do things like that. And he said, if you can get the American-made product, you will find it's exactly the same as you've always used." So I'd bought the first tin or two of PJ1 on eBay, and I got the European stuff. I ended up throwing it out because it was absolutely useless. However, I've noticed recently on eBay that you can actually buy the American, made in America formula. I tried to get it years ago, after speaking to PJ1, PJ himself, and said, can you send it to the UK? And there was a problem with sending aerosols on aeroplanes. So I simply stopped using the product. However, a recent trawl of eBay, I found that you can now indeed buy the Made in America formula. And it's exactly the same as what it used to be. The list of ingredients is impressively dangerous, and it's got some unspecified ingredients on it. It says unspecified. So as far as I'm concerned, that's what I want. And I've used it. I used it on 2 bike restorations. I've got some photos here. So if you've got black engine casings like on the GTs, and you've got any sort of scuffing, or you want to address any sort of bits missing or whatever, then this is the product to use, and it is on eBay. These are a couple of bikes that have got it on. So if you are going to buy PJ1 satin black case paint, and as I say, I think it comes in gloss as well. Make sure that it says made in America on the tin. If it's the European spec, you may as well not bother using it, because as I say, it's a really, really dark brown, but certain lights, it looks even worse. It doesn't match any engine blacking I've seen. So that this bike is a little XV250. As you can see, the case paint's on there. I turned that bike into a bobber, and I think it looked better at being a bobber than it did standard. And the next few pics are of a Yamaha XS1100 that I restored, and this bike is actually, in this photo, is 43 years old, and virtually all of the engine casings I did in PJ1. So as you can see, that's the European model. The exhaust, by the way, is as near as damn it replica of the original system, but made in stainless steel. I had those made in Germany, and I bought 3 sets of those, and the headers are exactly right. The cans are 99% original. If I had any criticism, the angle of them should be slightly lower, but because they were quite horizontal on the original bike. But that slightly blurred photo shows the engine casings that I've done in PJ1. On this particular bike, the cam box covers at the top and the cylinder barrels that's the original blacking, as is the crankcase, but the clutch casing and the alternator housing there are PJ1. So there's another shot of the bike. This particular bike ended up on a calendar in America, and I think another one I did ended up in a motorbike museum. They were all wrecked when I got them. So I just thought I'd pass that on. If you've got, if you're thinking of blacking anything, be it switchgear or engine casings or whatever, then the PJ1 satin black case paint is the best, but only if it's made in America. So if you're a devout Euro person, don't buy it, because you'll kill everybody when you use the first tin, according to the EU. So there you have it. I thought I'd just share that briefly. Have a nice one. Take care, whatever colour your casings may be, and I'll post again soon. Bye for now.